Hey, this is Jeremy Curran. I wanted to do this a little bit different. I'm tired of being in front of the whiteboard all the time. So I actually, we're on top of my fourplex that I built a few years back. It's got a beautiful view over San Diego. It's kind of relevant because I wanted to talk to you about how to create a life of abundance with less financial stress in your life, and maybe strategies that we've used to do this and just, live on less money and invest or spend the money that we do make on things that make us truly happy, and just create a fun environment and not just like buying newer, better stuff all the time. So I was going to go through that a little bit. I think I'm going to sit over here on my lounge chair and just kind of go through the topics instead of going on the whiteboard again. So bear with me. But how I think in today's modern age, a lot of people, so many people seem to be trapped, and for lack of a better word, the rat race, or just upgrading their house, leveling up, basically, I guess is what this camera's actually very heavy. Just continually leveling up their lifestyle so that their income is never enough and they're always kind of financially stressed. Anytime they get a raise, they're buying a bigger house or buying nicer stuff. Not that I'm completely immune from that, but I think we've done some bigger things in our life, pursuant to a few books that I've read, like Set for Life from Bigger Pockets Publishing, that has allowed us to have more abundance without having to make every last dollar to create a life of abundance and happiness and just more joy. So the first thing I would probably point to is just house hacking, which is basically just trying to mitigate or eliminate your rent or mortgage through creative living strategies, which generally your rent or your mortgage or your car payment is probably the most expensive thing that you have on your monthly expenses. And if you can mitigate it or get rid of it by master renting an apartment and renting the other rooms to your friends for a little bit more money so that you're paying less. Or what we basically did was we were rent hacking in apartments. I would always get a bigger apartment than I needed and rent the other rooms to friends or people I knew around San Diego for a little bit more money, and then I would end up paying less or living pretty close to cheap, which was what allowed me to save more money faster to buy our initial duplex. And even the duplex that we bought allowed us to live well below what it would have cost us to rent here in San Diego. And we were owning 2 apartments. We used a 203K loan, or a first-time homebuyer loan, FHA. So we put about 3% down. It was like $18,000, which at the time was a lot of money, but it was compared to what prices are in San Diego right now, it was quite inexpensive. And then we figured out that it was zoned for 4, so we used a 203K loan, which is a home improvement loan, which allowed us to renovate up to 4 units. So we needed a bigger house because we were having kids at the time, and I had a home office that I wanted to keep. I didn't want to have to go somewhere just to get dressed up and work, because I like dressing like this, generally hat, hoodie, and board shorts or whatever. So we built a fourplex that now, with the 2 long-term rentals and 1 short-term rental below us, allows us to live basically for free. At the most, I'm probably putting in about $500 a month into the mortgage. So that's huge, considering rent for even a 2-bedroom in San Diego is $3,000 a month or more, and not a nice rental generally. And our rent's actually here in mid-market. So that's been huge for us. And then furthermore, if you can pay off your car or have a cheap car or whatever, like, the rest of your expenses are generally probably pretty inexpensive, or not like a mortgage and a house. I mean, you're talking about food and washing your clothes and going out a little bit. Things that actually bring you joy, not just these fixed expenses that kind of, take over most of the money that you make from your job. So, I mean, between your mortgage, your rent, and a car payment, and insurance, and gas, and all that, generally a lot of people are spending 50% or more. So if you can get rid of some of those bigger ticket items, you can all of a sudden accelerate your savings and have options. So, yeah, living below your means. House hacking has been one of the big things. In general, I would say to have a life of abundance and get financially free, you probably need to figure out how to save 25 to 50% of your income, not just 10% of your income, like is the common way to go about it. To truly get ahead and create a life of abundance, I think you need to figure out how to save 25 to 50% of your income. However you do that, whether it's working more, living more economically through house hacking, or getting rid of your car and riding an e-bike, or whatever that means to you. Like, you could, there are lots of ways to do it. Not all of them are pleasant, but if you want to get out of the rat race of having a normal job and, have the ability and freedom to invest in new and exciting projects, or just get ahead in life and have options, so that when and if you want to switch jobs or start your own business, you have lots of money saved to do that, where you don't have to go to work to make a living that month, or whatever that looks like to you. It's probably windy over here, isn't it? But anyways, yeah, just options. This gives you options, so that when and if you lose your job, or you're not enjoying your job anymore and you want to do something different, you don't have to stay at that job, and you can start your own business or invest in different things or start a side hustle. All of these things are super empowering and get you off the normal track, where it opens your mind to all the possibilities that there are in life. There are so many ways to make a living, and if you're busy toiling at your regular job all day long, it's really hard to expand your mind and your point of view to see all the options that there are out there. Currently we have 3 different companies, and I can get into that maybe a little bit later, but by having all this extra cash that you're saving, you can invest it in the stock market, which I don't know if that's always the best way, but if you're putting in an S&P index fund and it's generating 5 to 8 to 12% annual return, that could be good. Investing it in businesses which are highly scalable, or you could grow, that's probably mostly what I've picked. And then real estate investing, so that we can build wealth, lower our taxes, and slowly provide residual income. Now we own this fourplex, and we also own an old cabin and a guest house on 5 acres in Bass Lake, California, that we're building out into an adventure ranch. So that's really cool. That's more of a vacation rental play, but say we own 6 units so far, which doesn't mean that I'm exactly crushing it yet, but it's 6 houses. Plus I have another logistics and warehousing business, and we have one other business, which is a Stoked clothing company, which doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of money, but I like to paint and draw, and it's an outlet for my art, and it allows me to create surf and bike and ski inspired t-shirts that kind of have fun with the colloquialisms of outdoor and action sports culture, which are my primary hobbies and passions in life. So beyond that, I would say you really need 6 to 12 months worth of savings on hand. However you have to do that, living below your means, house hacking. Once you have 6 to 12 months worth of money on hand, you don't have to make knee-jerk reactions. You can take your time and make good decisions. You don't have to stay at that job you hate. You don't have to freak out when you have an unexpected bill come out and go on your credit card and have high interest rates. So, I mean, all those things are good. I know that's not normal in American culture for whatever reason, but that has served us well, and I think that's a huge thing that I would try and help inspire others to do. Because honestly, savings is freedom. Hook, line, and sinker. That's it. if you have a lot of savings, you have options, you have freedom, you can do other things. You don't just have to go get another job if you lose your job or the economy takes a dump or whatever that looks like. And I could probably go on about this, but why would you want to do these things and have a life of abundance? You know, from my perspective, it's more freedom of time and money and just what you can do. Like having more money saved, not spending everything that you make allows you to have options and more time and more money to spend on things that probably matter in life. You know, opens your mind to other opportunities, whether it be starting a new business, investing in other stuff, investing with a friend, being able to buy a duplex instead of just a house so you can live a little bit cheaper and start building your wealth a little faster, and having a better, less stressful life in general. Like, you know, when you're spending everything that you make and, you know, you're up against the gun all the time and you have to go to work or you have to work that overtime or you have to work that second job, that's no fun. Why would anybody want to do that? I mean, yeah, at certain points in your life, I've worked 2 jobs too, and, you know, at a certain point I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. So, you know, just try and get off that hamster wheel with some of these strategies if you can. And I'm happy to share other ideas too. You know, and then just like focusing on experiences, travel, and creating fun businesses and other side hustles instead of just buying, you know, the latest and greatest stuff or another fancy car or, you know, just stuff that probably makes you happy initially, but, you know, not long term generally. And then, you know, after you've been paying on that fancy Range Rover or whatever you bought for 4 or 5 years, you know, it becomes quite the drag. You could spend all that money on taking fun trips or investing in businesses or just saving it and buying, you know, a bigger house that you could rent out the rooms to your friends with a pool and a jacuzzi that makes you happy but still keeps your life cheap. There's so many ways to do it. And, you know, you just got to be, I don't know if sucking up your pride is the right word, but just like honest with yourself and seeing how the world really works if you want to get ahead and have more abundance and have more capacity to make a difference in life, and or even just have more fun, honestly, or give back to your friends or whatever. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it is. As far as I'm concerned, those are the tenets of having a life of abundance. And in the end of the day, like us owning this fourplex and living mortgage free and being able to save, you know, 25 to 50%, sometimes more of the income that we make, allows me to reinvest it in fun things or affect change. Like, you know, really long term, I want to build more of these solar powered sports and social rental communities for my other company, Village Redevelopment, where, you know, and this, you can't really see it, but, you know, if you look, you can see the solar panels. Oh, Mr. Helicopter. This building is completely solar and battery backup powered. We have, I'll take you over here to see the courtyard. We give our tenants surfboards to surf, bikes to ride. They have a jacuzzi. It's quite nice, but you can kind of see the hands getting a little tired. Strung courtyard lights, fire pit, Adirondack chairs, and just rad tropical landscaping. So, and all powered by the sun. So, I mean, this is one of the ways, my hand's getting a little tired, one of the ways that I have chosen to use the abundance that I've created in my life and the flexibility of finance and savings to affect change. And we're going to continue to do that in communities that we love, like Mammoth Lakes. We want to build another fourplex community similar to this or bigger, maybe Truckee, California, my hometown of Bass Lake, California, and keep a unit for ourselves to visit and maybe Airbnb that and then rent the other units, hopefully at a mid-level rent for the market, and people in those local communities will get, you know, nice new apartments that are non-luxury but priced affordably and give them more You know, maybe it'll be mountain bikes or Sur-Ron electric dirt bikes like we do at the Adventure Ranch up in Bass Lake. And, you know, just trying to make it cool. Maybe I won't win any architectural awards, but by virtue of living well below my means and saving more of what I make, I have the ability to do these things. So if this is of interest to you, or you want to collaborate, or, you know, do an interview from based around maybe the unique ways that you're creating abundance in your life that are maybe similar or a little bit different to what we're doing, I'm happy to share. I'm happy to collaborate. I'm happy to do a podcast. You know, it's just, this is my way of trying to slowly give back some of the knowledge, because now I'm not the youngest dude out there. I just turned 50, and, you know, I think I have quite a bit of life experience. It doesn't mean we're doing everything correctly. We could still do more, and I think by saving more and making more and having more abundance, it allows you more capacity to do even more cool things in your life, whether you're just helping friends or building businesses that make a difference in the world, or just, you know, affecting change in whatever the way it is that you see fit. So if that resonates with you, I'm happy to talk to anybody. My phone number is 619-885-8188, and my email for the community building company is jeremy@villageredevelopment.com. Hope you're having an amazing week, and let me know if you have any questions or any thoughts, or want to collaborate, or just want to get together and talk about some of these ideas. Anyways, over and out from sunny and beautiful San Diego, California on my rooftop deck.